name is John Tolson with the Simi Valley Chamber of Commerce. We are so glad you're here. We're glad to participate in educational learning so that we can make sure that we are in compliance. And we have some experts on the call with us. I'm going to introduce Wes Yates, and then he can introduce some folks from WM. Wes Yates is the Environmental Compliance Program Coordinator and the Solid Waste Hazardous Materials guru from the city of Simi Valley. And he is kind of the go-between WM, who's going to be the facilitator of helping us be in compliance, but he's going to make sure that what reporting happens to the state that says, hey, we are doing what we're supposed to be doing. And I am going to turn the time over to Wes. You want to unmute yourself, and then I'm going to mute myself, and then we'll go from here, and then you can take over the screen and do your slideshow. You want to introduce your two counterparts from WM to take part of that too. Take it away.
All righty. Thank you, John. Like John said, my name is Wes Yates, City of Simi Valley. I'm joined today with Denise Kane and Joel Harriet of Waste Management. They are kind of our business outreach and recycling folks for Waste Management. So like John was saying, I'm the regulatory compliance side for the city, making sure that we're meeting the state requirements, and Waste Management actually provides that service and a good chunk of our outreach and education as well. So I will go ahead, let's screen share. All righty, hopefully everybody sees that okay. So, alrighty, John's two thumbs up, so we're good to go. So the two state laws we're talking about today are AB 341 and AB 1826. And to put it simply, they are laws putting recycling requirements on businesses and on multifamily dwellings that meet certain thresholds. So for the multifamily side, it's 5 units or more. So we're going to start with AB 341. That is our standard recycling as we know it, papers, cans, bottles, and cardboard. This law actually started in 2012, so it's been around for quite a while. It's facilities that generate over 4 cubic yards per week. Kind of the easy way to figure that out is looking at your commercial bill, and based on the size of your container and its service frequency. So even if you only have a 3-yard bin, if it's being serviced more than once a week, then you still are over the threshold. Facilities can meet this either by signing up for recycling service through Waste Management or through another hauler, or self-hauling the material. You can gather all your recyclables up yourself and bring it to a recycling center if you'd like, arrange for another service. There are a few cardboard and pallet recycling services and things that operate within the city that will come and take that material for you. Even if you have a 4-yard bin and you generate 2 cans a week, let's say, of recycle, you still technically have to be a part of this. But again, you can go ahead and self-haul those recycling cans. The big part of these laws is that the state doesn't want this material entering the landfill anymore. So if you are self-hauling, then you have to let us know, and then I get that information over to Waste Management so we can kind of clear you from being flagged for not having this program. That is done by filing our Declaration of Compliance, which is found on our website, and I will show that link a little later. Additionally, there are some businesses that do not have the space for an additional bin. That does happen. There are a lot of older areas in the city where these laws weren't imagined yet. So all you do is have space for 1 bin. Then you can file for an exemption for lack of space and get out of that as well. Additionally, if you do have a 4-yard bin that's only being serviced once a week, you could consider trying to downsize to a 3-yard bin. That would then get you out of this rule as well. So here is just an image comparing some of the bin sizes that is offered. So again, you look at the 4-yard versus the 3-yard. There isn't. Sure what that was. And, on Waste Management's website, on the commercial side, you can see the various options that are offered. And the cost of those and the rates are a part of the franchise agreement, what was agreed upon. The newest franchise agreement went to cancel October 10th. So if you go onto our website and look at the meeting agenda, you can pull up the staff report for that and see the new agreement and all the items in it, as well as the rates going forward. So the second law here is AB 1826. So this is now commercial organics recycling. So that's green waste and food waste. And so this one's a little tougher to try to get out of. It's businesses that generate 2 cubic yards per more a week, which is almost all of them if you have a commercial account. Again, this can be self-hauled, and a lot of our plazas and multifamily dwellings, all of the green waste is hauled off by whatever contractor is working there. So that does work, but you will need, just like the other law, file the same declaration of compliance, letting us know what's happening to that material and just certifying that's not going into your standard trash dumpster and going to the landfill. Additionally, with this is the food waste aspect. So there is separate organic carts for food waste that are going to be delivered to businesses unless they, file for a waiver here to get out of it. The most common way of getting out of it is generating less than 20 gallons a week of that material. A lot of standard small businesses do not generate over that. But again, you just have to let us know, because otherwise, if you're flagged for over 2 cubic yards per week, we're going to assume you need this program. We have sent out a couple rounds of letters now letting businesses know about this and who's not in compliance. So that cart that I'm talking about is a 64-gallon organics cart, similar to your at-home green waste bin. It's a little bit different coloring scheme, but that is what is going to be delivered to bring your business into compliance with that. And the other part of this is a law a lot of people are talking about lately that's relatively new. It's called SB 1383. It does not change this 1826 requirement on businesses. What that does, it's mainly more of a residential side impact, and where residents now are required to separate their food waste from the trash and put it in their green container bagged. And that's kind of the big change, as well as an edible food recovery program. There's only a handful of businesses that fall under that, mainly our large grocery stores and supermarkets. So that is a separate issue, and we're going to tackle that differently. So I hit on a few of these before, but the new commercial services changes that are going to start implementing next year when the new amended agreement takes effect is bundled services and rates. So all these laws that we're talking about are now going to be incorporated. So there's going to be less of a choice of having trash versus recycling. It's going to be all in one until that gets worked out, whether you're self-hauling or filing declaration of compliance, that sort of thing. Additionally, there's going to be a new small business service level. So if you're just a small little office with a couple employees, you can now have a service level similar to residential. So you won't need the 4 or 3 yard bin. And automatic organics carts are going to be delivered to any business that generates over 2 cubic yards or more. So that law, you're going to be automatically in compliance in going forward. But as of right now, the city itself is still out of compliance with these laws based on the amount of businesses that aren't participating in these programs. So that's how this is getting enforced. The state makes these laws and they put it on the city to enforce them. And if we aren't in almost 100% compliance, then the state comes down on the city. So the exemption system will still exist going forward, even with these commercial service changes. So we're still going to be offering that. So how to comply, talked about this before. You either sign up for the recycling programs with Waste Management, you certify that you self-haul your materials, and you complete the declaration of compliance and / waiver form here. So there's kind of a little snapshot of what it starts to look like as you go to that page. So there's information on there. You fill out your business information and then what kind of waiver you're applying for and just a description of how you're handling your recycling materials. So the link for that is simivalley.org/recycling form. So here, last slide here, just some resources. So again, another link to the recycling form. We really want people to apply for these waivers if you think you fall under that, just so we can get these numbers down quickly. Same with the exemptions. It's all in one form, trying to make it as convenient as possible. Up top there is the state site there, CalRecycle. So it has all of the information for these commercial recycling programs. And then there's my contact information and then Joel's contact information. He's on the waste management side, our big business recycling liaison there. And he also offers waste assessments. So if you feel that you'd like to downsize or trying to figure out where you can put bins, you know, if you're really exempt or not, Joel can come out and go over all that with you and take a look at what you have going on there. So with that, that is it for me, and we are available for questions.
Should we turn some time over to Joel to answer, to put in his 2 cents worth?
Sure. Yeah. If Joel has anything he'd like to add, you can go ahead and do that.
Hi, everybody. I think Wes was very clear on all the new policies and procedures, how to apply for waivers. I am certainly willing to come out to any businesses in Simi Valley and help you get right-sized, as we call it. If we can lessen your trash and increase your recycling, that is ultimately our goal. But if any questions for me, certainly shoot me an email, give me a call. I am here to help in any way I can.
Perfect. So we have a question. When will the assessment there's no charge for an assessment for you to come out, is that right?
Absolutely free. I am willing to visit any business property in Simi Valley, no charge. It's working with the city and the businesses to get compliancy.
So Joel, we have one question that's in the chat. We have the Simi Valley Town Center, who's has multiple tenants and major, different places. Would you want to maybe reach out to them and meet with them separately? Is that a potential option we can have done?
I've been working, actually, it's funny, Simi Valley Town Center, Danny recently called yesterday regarding adding some bins. Individual accounts are handled separately than the one large account for the whole town center.
Okay.
So if they have an individual account, absolutely, I'm happy to go up there and speak with them in person.
Perfect. Appreciate that. Again, those who jumped on after we started, if you want to put your email in the chat, we will send you the slide deck and the forms that Wes has been talking about. We'll try and get those out to you later today. It's a matter about editing this video. Now, let's the separate food waste bin that's being delivered, when will that happen?
So that.
Oh, sorry, Wes, go ahead.
Oh, you can answer it, Denise.
Well, it's based on need, and it'll be based on the assessments that we do with the customers. We'll ultimately look at the business type, their business model, what it is that they're producing, what they're not, and then levy them to the decision whether or not it's to ask for a de minimis waiver or a space waiver or to proceed with the program. So we'd like to see rollouts begin with the new presentations and with more activity and more participation. I would say mid to end of January, February, March, and as the message gets out, we'll deliver. And we don't want to scare anybody right from the get-go, so we're not going to just drop a bin and say, here's how to go and start billing you for it. But we're really going to take the time to assess each of the customers. And Wes and I worked about a year ago on the recycling side, and what we discovered was that the team effort really worked great. And the more communication between WM and the individual participants is everything that makes all of the difference in the changing of behavior. So we're really looking forward to slowly rolling it out where it makes most sense.
Beautiful. That's really helpful. Got a question at the beginning of Wes, your presentation. You mentioned that if you want to do some self-hauling, there's cardboard recyclers or other type of recycling. Do you by chance have a list of approved vendors or people that other companies are using in town that you could send me?
Unfortunately, I don't. I can ask around. It's kind of one of those, it's almost a specter. I know it exists, but all the vehicles I've seen doing it are never marked. But we can try to go ahead and track that down just to get that out as a resource. We can't advocate for any business or the other, but I know they are out there and they do exist, and quite a few businesses are using them.
Okay,
So
maybe
I'll try to find something.
Or maybe somebody on this call wants to put in the chat somebody who they use, or you send it to me. My name is John at cmechamber.org. Okay, so when does everyone need to be in compliance by?
Well, so technically now, these laws have been around for a little while. And so this year we got audited by the state in late summer. So this is where really the big push is coming now to try to get us as close to 100% as humanly possible. But by the end of this year, we're really going to expect and need a lot more businesses to be in compliance. And most of them, from what we've seen, will be if they file this declaration of compliance or apply for a waiver. That's all we need. A lot of the businesses don't need this organics cart for food waste. They generate a de minimis amount, as Denise put it, which is that less than 20 gallons a week. So we just really need these exemptions to be completed.
So technically, probably 25% of the people on this call could be exempt, and all they need to do is have Joel come out, do the assessment. He sends, or you can link the form up and say, yeah, I'm going to be exempt, and he doesn't need, they don't need to worry about this. They're done.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to think what else. Now, okay, what if I have, my office here, we have 6 employees, we've got a break room. Am I supposed to be doing anything like what you're talking about here?
Most likely not, but again, that the first part is, what is your current service level? If you have a 4-yard bin, then you're getting captured in these things. You either need to self-haul it, follow that declaration of compliance, right size, as Joel put it, going down to a 3-yard bin. Again, applying for that organics waiver, you most likely are not going to be generating over 20 gallons a week of food waste unless everybody's just throwing their food away and never eating it. So that's what you need to do. Again, the other side is going forward here. We're going to have our small business service level, which will then get you out of both of these rules, because then you won't be meeting either of those thresholds. And that'll just be a better overall program, or not program, but level of trash service for a small business like that.
Now there's a question in the chat, and maybe WM's got this or the city's got this. Jesse Hansen says, when I lived in San Francisco, the city offered posters to businesses that showed what could go into their green bins. Any plan on doing something like this? Great question.
So all of our carts have hot stamps on the lid, so it's easily recognizable. On the bins, we try to label the bins as best as possible. If he's got a bin that doesn't have current labels, we can certainly come out there and let him know what can go in there. We have PDF files that we can email really easily about what goes where. Posters, we haven't gone poster size yet, only because, again, we're trying to get away from doing any type of printing if we can, if possible. And as the laws change, more may be added or more may be taken away. So we don't want to confuse the message. So we're happy to send out the flyers that we currently are using and to provide that literature and education outreach to whoever's asking for it.
Okay. So at my residential, I've got 3 different color bins. One is my trash, one's my recycling, and one is my green.
Mhm.
yard waste. What's the color lid for the food waste? Is there a separate color?
So eventually, as we get there, cart standardization is part of SB 1383, part of CalRecycle's requirements. So by 2036, we are supposed to have all new cans on the ground that are colorized. So they'll all have a gray or a black bottom and then color-coded lids. Green would be for your organic material. Black will be for your trash and blue would be for recycling. Those are the kind of universal colors that they're using. And we're going to do cart color standardization as quickly as we can through Simi Valley. So if you're in need of a new cart, the idea is that you would get the replacement cart in the new color.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Got a question about a self-service car wash. How would we go about, educating your customers to throw everything into a different bin versus food to separate where it's the public involved? Any suggestions?
I mean, if the containers are provided, again, it's based on scope of service. So if they're over the threshold and they meet the requirements to have recycling, then they would have a recycling receptacle on site, just like a multifamily or any type of business. One would be labeled for recycling and the other would be labeled for trash. And we would encourage people to do the right thing, but changing behavior sometimes is a little bit more difficult. But as long as the bins are available, the public has access. Some public buildings, like public storage, don't allow their customers to use their trash bins. You kind of have to take what you bring and bring what you take. So car washes, I know that they want you to clean out the tissues and clean out the center console, but a lot of that doesn't really constitute recyclables. If they have cans, plastic, and glass, and they want to throw that away, as long as the receptacle's on site and the customer that owns the business meets the requirements for having recycling, we would provide that service to them.
I'm guessing, Denise, you'd probably strongly recommend they contact Joel to do an assessment.
Yeah, reach out to Joel so they can talk about their waste stream and see what's going on. We have a lot of technology, Smart Truck. We can actually see footage of materials that are inside containers. So yes, Joel going out there and seeing, because car washes do have products. They do have things for sale. So certainly.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Any other questions in the chat? Again, everyone put their email address in the chat. One question about multi-compartment bins. Is there such a thing as a vendor that does multi-compartment bins?
So in theory, back in the early 90s, large container roll-offs were built where they were separated for each commodity. What they found is that the trap doors sometimes would get stuck. They were very difficult to handle. And that's why we use the 3-bin system that we currently have. We also don't have split compartment vehicles, which would make those bins even more difficult to service. So we go with the 3 bins or the 3 carts. It's usually the best way to go.
Perfect. Makes total sense. Feasible, fiscally, and all that good stuff. Okay, so here's what we're going to do is one question: is there fines for non-compliance?
So I'll take that one. As of right now, there is not. Enforcement is changing come January 2024 because it's mandated by that SB 1383 I talked about. So that's entirely on the organic side. And what that is, there is a schedule based on the number of violations, and that's really mainly going to be a contamination issue, where you have an organics cart and you're clearly throwing regular trash or recyclables in there. So there will be fines on that end, but that's again not till 2024.
Perfect.
And we have to, by state law, issue fines for those violations.
Wes and Joel and Denise, we want to thank you for all participating and educating us today. Wes, you want to just verbally give your email address real quick?
Yeah, so my email is wyates@simivalley.org. It's WYATES @simivalley.org.
Fantastic. Joel, do you want to do an email, maybe a phone number to call?
Yeah, absolutely. Phone number 818-482-8367 and email is jharrio1@wm.com.
Fantastic. Again, thank you all for joining us. The idea is for us to get in line, participate and save our landfills, be compliance. And we've got people here to help you do that. Christy has, no, that was it. So we're going to call it a day. We're going to keep you at 27 minutes. Thank you all for joining us and have a great day.